In our collective worship this week, we are thinking about the story of Samson. Samson was a leader in Israel a very, very long time ago. His parents had been told he was going to be born by an angel who had said he will be strong and a great leader, but you must bring him up to be a holy man, a Nazirite. This means he must never eat meat, never drink alcohol, and never cut his hair. His parents brought him up well, and he grew strong. He was an important person in the Israelite community, and he led the army in battle against the Philistines. The Philistines were very afraid of him. Because he was so strong and so important, he also started to be quite arrogant. He didn't keep the rules of being a Nazirite. He did eat meat and drink alcohol, but he never cut his hair because his hair was what made him strong. He nearly got married once, but he teased his wife and their family and gave them a riddle that they couldn't do. Eventually, she persuaded him to tell her the answer, and he was so angry when the family gave the answer back to him that he killed them all. What bad behaviour. He would speak to people rudely and give his parents and other people orders. One day, he gave them an order to let him marry this lady, Delilah. But Delilah was a Philistine, one of the enemies. She was just trying to trick him to explain why he was so strong, so that the Philistines could beat him. But he was so arrogant and full of himself that he didn't realize what she was doing. He told her that if they wrapped 7 fresh ropes around him, that would take away his strength. It wasn't true, of course, and he easily broke them. He told her some other lies as well, but eventually he told her the truth, that cutting his hair was the secret. The Philistines, of course, came in the night and cut his hair and captured him. And because they were so angry with him, because he was such a dangerous enemy, they blinded him and then set him to work helping build their temple. Eventually, his hair started to grow back again. And as it grew back, his strength came back too. One day, as he was working in the temple, he realized he was going to be strong enough to do some real damage, and so he pushed at the columns in the temple. He knew that if he pushed hard, he would be able to knock the whole temple down. The temple collapsed. It killed a lot of people, including himself. It was his final revenge on the Philistines. Samson was chosen to be a man of God, but he had let God down through his arrogance and pride and rude behaviour. Still, he is remembered as someone who had God's strength and was chosen by him.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our thought for the week. This week I'm thinking about respect and politeness. In the Bible there's a story about a very strong man called Samson. Samson was a great leader in Israel. But here's the thing, Samson was great and strong, and he knew it. He knew people liked him. He knew he could defend people. And you know what? It made him quite rude. He was a bit full of himself. Samson was strong and defended his friends, but he wasn't very polite about it. And it made his enemies hate him even more. It was bad enough that he kept beating them, but he was so rude. Being rude's not a good thing, is it? Have you ever thought about the way people talk to you? Whether people remember to say please and thank you? It makes a difference, doesn't it? You feel better when people say please and thank you. Well, I do anyway. And of course, the place to start is by remembering to say those things yourself. In the Bible, St. Paul says to us that we should always remember to respect each other and to treat each other well. And respect and treating each other well is part of being polite, because politeness is a sign that we're treating each other well. There's someone coming to help me with my thought for the week who's going to be here in a minute. And that person, well, maybe it's not a person who's coming to help me, is doing a job for me, is helping me out. I wonder if you can guess who it might be who's coming to help me. When we show respect to other people and politeness, it makes them feel better. It shows that we value them as people. That was the problem with Samson. He didn't really show other people that he valued them. He wanted them to remember that he was important, but he didn't show other people that they were important too. Saying please and thank you is about reminding people that they're important too. I think my helper might be here. Can you see who it is? Yes, it's a robot. And the robot is bringing me my shopping. Hello, robot. Let's see whether the robot knows how to be polite.
Here's your delivery.
It does, doesn't it? It said hello. And it's brought me my delivery of all my shopping. Now, of course, the robot was filled by some people. And if I want to show respect to the people who filled it up and who sent this lovely robot that's just said hello, what do you think I should do? I should say thank you, shouldn't I? So I'm going to say thank you by putting this note for the robot to take back. Inside the robot, there's my thank you note. And we'll put down the lid. Thank you, robot, for all your help.
Thank you.
What a polite robot. It's programmed not just to help me, but to be respectful and polite. I wonder if we can be respectful and polite, like that friendly little robot who just helped me with my shopping. Because even though it was just a robot saying thank you to me, that made me feel a bit better. It reminded me that I'm valuable too. And I hope my note inside it will remind the people at the shop who sent the robot that they're valuable too. So here's my challenge this week. Let's remember to say please and thank you and show other people that they're valuable, not just that we think we're great. I'm going to say a word of prayer now, and if you agree with me, you can say amen at the end. Dear God, help us to be polite and respectful to other people. Help us to remember always to say please and thank you, and to remember that other people are valuable and that we're valuable too. Amen. Well, it's been lovely to see you for this thought for the week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. But I think I'd better go and put my shopping in the fridge, hadn't I? Bye-bye. See you soon.